And Kathleen, we're hearing that the biggest sort of holdouts coming from Austria and the Netherlands. So what's being contested after these 3 days of talks and a couple of pretty dramatic walkouts?
Yes. Well, it's all about grants versus loans. Are you going to give the nations hit hardest by the virus, countries like Italy in the south, you're going to give the money outright, or you're going to just stick to low interest loans? Or what is the balance between the two going to be? This is how they are split right now. And remember, this is their first in-person meeting of EU leaders since February. They're really buckling down. We have to pass the 750 billion euro pandemic recovery plan. Now, they're working into the night. As you said, it was supposed to be a 2-day meeting. It is in danger now of becoming a 4-day meeting. And the majority, of course, led by Germany and France, want the grants to predominate. They want at least 400 billion. In fact, the EU Council President, Charles Michel, has floated a plan tonight in Europe for that number. That would be down from the 500 billion in grants that others were pushing for. But the hardliners, led particularly by the Dutch Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, are insisting that it has to be a significantly lower number of grants, higher number of loans. Some of he and his allies have called for a cap on the grants at 350 billion euros. Now, Rutte himself came into this saying maybe there was a 50% chance of passing the package that was put on the table. He was somewhat optimistic, but his prediction has proved true that it hasn't passed, in part because he has been so entrenched, so dug in on this position. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said that this is critical. You have to get this plan to ensure European recovery from the damage from the virus. The Italian Prime Minister Conte said in a statement on Sunday that that Europe is being blackmailed by the hardliners, by the hawks, as he referred to them. So talks continue, bilateral talks. Earlier in the weekend, Germany and France walked away from a meeting with the Netherlands Prime Minister when they couldn't agree on anything. So much tougher, I think, than some people thought.
And Kathleen, the G20 also has been grappling with the impact of the coronavirus this weekend when it comes to the world's poorest countries. What have officials decided about debt relief?
Well, they've decided they're going to wait to really decide how much they extend debt relief to the poorest nations beyond December, because right now everybody is implementing this debt service suspension initiative through the end of the year. The Saudi finance minister said over the weekend that this debt relief plan will make about $14 billion available to the poorest nations to fight the virus, because they don't have to pay the debt servicing. That can be very, very high. Now, in fact, 42 countries are getting to a debt relief right now. There's been so far about $5.5 billion in suspension of the repayments. David Malpass, who's the head of the World Bank, saying over the weekend as well that the G20 has to extend the debt repayment standstill through the end of next year. He warns of rising poverty, increasingly desperate situation in poor nations as they use what little resources they have to fight the devastation of the virus. He said time is short. We need to take action quickly on debt suspension, debt reduction, debt resolution mechanisms, and debt transparency. More agreement there. The French support extending this to the end of 2021. Some, in fact, who are watching to say even that suspension is not going to be enough for the poor countries. But it looks like, in terms of their definite agreement where they head next, they're kind of punting for now.